I would question your paper. So next, are there flaws in the procedures, the presentation or analysis of the data? Again, if you want to submit a manuscript to a high quality journal, I'm talking a Scopus, a Q1 or a Q2, hey, they will definitely look for your analysis of the data or the presentation. They will definitely look for that. They will look for things that are very simple, like methodology. The methodology, often that's where I see the most problems. The methodology. You work so hard on the literature review, and in the methodology, you say, this descriptive study had a population of 200 people. Thank you. And if your study is very good, the editor will contact you and say, hey, you should revise the methodology section before we send your paper to reviewers. But if other parts of your paper are not very good, your paper will just simply be rejected. And the editor will tell you you need to develop your methodology section. But I see the methodology section is one of the shortest sections, and it's often the most overlooked. Next, oh, yes. Are there flaws in the arguments or the conclusion? Like I said earlier, your arguments have to be logical. They have to be structured well, and they have to be valid. And sometimes authors, especially novice authors, okay, or developing researchers, we tend to make conclusions, or we tend to make arguments that are not rightly connected to our literature review or our methodology or our findings. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot with people who procrastinate, or they rush to try to publish a paper, and they just overlook these very important points. So now this one here is, I'm sorry, this is my favorite. I'm into language, so this is it. And I wrote a paper not too long ago about information flow. So let me tell you this. Academic language is very important. And if you write your paper in your local language, Bahasa Indonesian, and then you translate, no, your paper is going to be horrific, okay? If you write your paper in English, it will not be perfect, but it will be much better if you write in English and have someone help you do some minor editing before you submit your paper. It will be much better than if you write it in your local language and then translate it into English. Yeah, it doesn't work very, very well. And the information flow is very important. The information must flow from sentence to sentence, from paragraph to paragraph, and section to section, on and on. And if the information does not flow very well, like if you use too many pronouns, if you use he, she, it, this, they, and you do not have a noun after they or this, if there is not a noun after they or this, you cause an unclear antecedent. That means no one knows what you're talking about. So information flow is very important. Now, spelling issues often happen, when I go to Indonesia, I hear English teachers they say scenario. It should be scenario. Or they say they will accentuate the wrong syllable in a word. And when that happens, their spelling will reflect how they pronounce. Now, I've seen teachers, they've spelled scenario with SK, and because that's how it sounds to them. But spelling issues should be the least of your worries. Most of us will use Microsoft Word, or we will use Pages with Mac. And if there is a red line under the word, it's probably misspelled, or the program thinks it is misspelled. Microsoft Word has a free editor function. Grammarly, I love Grammarly. I use Grammarly all the time. So there should not be issues with language or spelling when you submit a manuscript. But sadly, there are so many issues. And I find that the structure of the paper, especially if there are hundreds and hundreds of language issues, you know, if 10% of the paper is full of language issues, the readability is going to be severely lacking. So at the bottom of this screen, I put PNG and TIFF. Okay, when you submit figures, complex figures that have many different parts, convert that figure to a PNG or a TIFF. A TIFF is so much better. The TIFF format is lossless, just as the PNG, but it's more professional. It's able to be used in many different formats, and it does retain the color much better. But if you do not have an ability to convert your figures to a TIFF, at least convert your figures to a PNG. Okay. Tables should be readable. The formatting of the table according to the APA style is quite simple, but just make sure your table is readable, okay? So language, information flow, spelling issues. So, but this right here is the most important of all. Ethics approval must be received from the Institutional Review Board, the IRB, before collecting data for research involving human participants. Research involving human participants. Okay. Oh, well, David, I did an online survey. Okay. Who filled out the survey? Oh, people. Are these people human? Yes. Okay, there you go. You need ethics approval. But why? It's just an online survey. Well, let me tell you something. The Institutional Review Board is there to help protect the participants. Of course, the IRB has the university to protect as well. But first and foremost, they are there to protect the participants. So it doesn't matter if you are sending a Google Docs or a Google Forms link to 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. Ethics approval is very important. And high-ranking Q1 or Q2 journals, they are going to ask for proof of ethics approval. And if you don't have it, or if your university does not have an IRB, contact me. If your university does not have an IRB, we can help you establish one. Okay? Remember, ethics approval, so important, so important. Now, do the in-text citations and end citations adhere to the requirements of the journal? Okay, in just a moment, I'm going to quickly review an article that was sent to me earlier today. And you will see in-text citations, the references, are they formatted? If they're not formatted, that your manuscript is going to be kicked back to you. And the editor is going to say, hey, look, you kind of need to format your citations and your references. The formatting, again, is very easy. APA only has a couple of basic styles, like this. This is probably the most common reference style. And this is from an academic article. It sure is. It's just from a regular academic article. If you see how the author's names, surname, comma, initial period, comma, surname, comma, initial period, comma, that's it. I mean, it's very simple. The year is in parentheses, followed by a period. The title is in sentence case. Sentence case means the first letter is capitalized and every proper noun is capitalized. And the journal name and the volume number are italicized. Those are the only two things that are italicized in this whole reference. The academic journal name and the volume number. Everything else is not italicized. And the DOI, the digital object identifier, it must be a hyperlink. It must have the HTTPS. It must be a hyperlink. And APA no longer used, received on this date, or checked on this date, or downloaded on this date. Yeah, they don't use that anymore unless it particularly applies to something that changes. So yeah, so this here is a very common reference. Now, these I actually have these two books. The publication manual of the American Psychological Association. My journal uses the APA 7th edition, and most journals that I review they use the same. So I'm quite familiar with the APA and the publication manual. I use it every day. I really do. I use it daily. So these manuals, you can get the ebook. It's quite cheap. You might even be able to find it somewhere out there on the internet. But the APA website, the APA style website, offers a lot of help, a lot of free help. And look, let me tell you right now, if you use a reference manager, that's fine, okay? But the reference managers will not always correctly format the reference. Now, if you look here, the reference manager can only format the reference as you input the data into the reference manager. So if whatever reference manager you use, like I use EndNote, and I have EndNote set to APA 7th edition. But guess what? It's not always correct, because the title of the journal article must be in sentence case. EndNote does not always change it into sentence case. So you have to be a little responsible. But these manuals will help you. And like I said, both of these manuals are available online. Different guides are available online. Now, no way do I receive any compensation from Grammarly, but I like Grammarly. I use Grammarly every day. I use Grammarly because even as a qualified native English speaker, I make mistakes. I will mistype a pronoun. he or she, I will mistype a preposition, on or for, or sometimes I will misspell and I don't catch it. But Grammarly helps me quite a bit. Grammarly also has a plagiarism checker. Grammarly has a style checker. Grammarly helps me quite a bit. And just to let you know, if I think Grammarly is what, $140 US dollars per year. But if you contact Grammarly, they will give you a discount. I forgot how much I pay. I think I pay $80 per year. Yeah, but they will give you a discount. So now, I know I spoke very, very quickly, but I'm going to go now, and I'm going to open an article, and so we can look at something, a real live article that was sent to me. Just to let you know, if anyone would like to send a message to me on Facebook, you can scan the QR code, or my Facebook page is at the bottom of the screen. It's just my name, David.D.Perrodin. That's it. That's my name. So now I am going to stop sharing my screen because I want to open the article. Okay, I'm going to open the article so we can get a little more. Hey, Novita. Yes, I am doing that right now. Okay. Now, this is something that I was talking about. Now, I use, like I said before, I use Grammarly. And for instance, this article was sent to me earlier, and I am going to just do a quick Grammarly scan. I do this. This is the first thing I do. And while Grammarly is working, I will take a quick gander at the word count. The word count in this article is 2,257 words. Well, I know right off the bat that an article that is just over 2,000 words, I know that there are so many things missing. This article probably has a lot of problems without even looking at it. Most articles, most manuscripts will be 6,000 to 8,000 words. Really, that's how long. So now, to tell you a little secret, I did not open these files beforehand. So this is the first time I am seeing these articles. And I want you to sort of go through my process with me. So I ran a Grammarly scan, and it shows that there are 145 alerts. 145 alerts can be just about anything. It can be style, article usage, preposition usage, just about anything. Subject, verb agreement. Yeah. Now, I also do a plagiarism check. Now this article, there's not any detected plagiarism. So now, if you do not have Grammarly, Microsoft Word also has an editor function. And this editor function, the score is 68. Well, that means this article has a lot of problems. It has a lot of spelling problems. A lot of spelling problems. So, but let's not worry about that right off the bat. Let's just quickly scan the article so we can get a better understanding. Now, the title the title right now catches my attention. How translators use Grammarly as proofing tools. Well, the subject-verb agreement is off a little bit, okay? Now, Grammarly is one tool. So the author should have written as a proofing tool. Yeah, that would have been much better. So with something like that, something like in the title there are, it is a simple mistake, but that causes me to check a little closer. Now, if we look at the abstract, the first sentence, a translator needs proofing tool to ensure the readability of his translation. Okay, right there, that first sentence causes me so much concern. A translator needs proofing tools to ensure the readability of their translation. Why did I delete his and I put their? Well, first of all, our research should not have any gender bias. It should be gender neutral. So we no longer use pronouns he or she unless we are specifically referring to a participant in qualitative research, that the pronouns he or she are significant to discussing the demographics of that particular participant. Okay, so we use gender neutral language. Now, the second sentence, this research aims to find out the response, reaction, and follow-up of translators while using Grammarly as proofing tools. I'm really not sure what that means. It's not exactly clear to me. And you know, the first sentence, I like when the first sentence gives, I really like when the first sentence gives a general statement that everyone can understand. And the second sentence, I like when the second sentence gives the aim of the research. But I'm really not sure exactly what they're talking about. The researcher used interpretive, okay. Wow. You know, I mentioned earlier about the uses of pronouns. To find it, you know, what is it? I would, this paper right here is causing me some concern, even with the abstract. It is a qualitative research procedure to facilitate researchers. Okay, again, I am already lost with this paper. I am completely lost. The information flow has been interrupted. I'm really not sure what is the purpose of this study. I'm not sure exactly what methodology they used and how they used it. The researcher collected the data with group interview. Now, group interview already tells me that human participants were used. So there must be some mention of ethics approval in this paper. There must be some mention of ethics approval. The researcher did what? Again, what is it? Phone calls and Zoom meeting. Again, you know, I'm really not sure of what is going on. Who are the participants? You know, there's so much information missing from this abstract. This abstract is 176 words. the abstract, depending upon the journal, could be 200 or 300 words. This abstract could use at least 2 more sentences to clearly communicate, okay? Now, how translators use Grammarly as proofing tools. Look at the keywords: readability, proofreading tool, and translation. Yes, but I'm pretty sure translator or even Grammarly could even be added into the keywords. Now, again, once I go through the abstract, I have no idea what this paper is about, to be honest. And it's the same thing. Like here in this sentence here, the author used quotation marks. How do I know this is direct speech? What they should have done, they should have included the page number where this particular quote comes from, or if it's not a particular quote, you just use a single quotation mark. Yeah. Now, for example, if the original text, wow, what is this? They used a language that is not English, and the way that they wrote the sentence is very unnatural, very unnatural. What they should have done is, in this explanation, they must offer some sort of English translation. They didn't do that, so I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what this sentence says, and I'm right already. This author has lost me. I was pretty much confused with the abstract, and I'm still confused. The first sentence, translating is an interesting job because see right there, this first sentence, that lost me. It sounds like a high school essay. Now, let's go through the introduction. I'm looking to see here. They mentioned here the options of translating this sentence, right? But I'm not sure. In this case, the translator may translate it into. Are they talking about this sentence? Or an English translator has freedom to modulate the English sentence? See, they're talking about English sentence structure in the source text, but what is it? Is it this sentence, or is it the source text? See, again, instead of using pronouns, just use a synonym or restate the noun. It makes life much easier. Oh, well, this is the end. This is the end of the introduction. Wow, that doesn't really, I don't see anything here that states a case for this research. There is not enough information in this introduction. There is not enough focused information in this introduction for me to make a competent, for me to judge the competence of this paper. See, the researcher believes that Grammarly as a proofing tool should make translate. Okay, look, first of all, this right here, yeah, this right here would be a big red flag for me. No one cares what you believe. No one cares what you think. No one cares what you hope. When you write things like the researcher believes, yeah, that shows me that this introduction is very short. It doesn't get to a clear research focus point because the researcher is focusing on their beliefs. Look at this. Look at this right here. Look at this this in-text citation. Any citation with three or more authors from the very beginning is et al. From the very beginning. The sixth edition, when you first introduced at least three authors, you can put the authors' names, all three names, but now everything is et al, even from the very beginning. So let's see the methodology. Again, this research aims to find out the response, reaction, and follow-up of translators while using Grammarly as proofing tools. I wonder if they are talking about the response, reaction, and follow-up from the customers, maybe? See, again, I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure the research focus, so it's a little bit confusing. The researcher collected the data with group interview, phone calls, Zoom meetings starting September 15, 2021. No, it should be from September 15th to whatever ending day. There should be a range. Huh. See, again, I'm not really clear, I'm not really understanding the methodology. I don't see any description about I don't see any clear description about the participants. There's no demographics about the participants. In the methodology section, there should be a mention about ethics approval. I don't see any mention of ethics approval in this paper. The results and discussion, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure what they did. I'm not sure how they got to this point. And look, they misspelled. They misspelled one of the main premises of their paper, Grammarly. Geez. Yeah. See, again, I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea what they're doing. I have no idea how the study was constructed. I have no idea what tools that they are using. I have no idea about the participants, on and on and on and on and on. And then here the results and discussion. Again, I have no idea. I have no idea the purpose of these results. I have no idea where this came from. I just don't. And going through this, they're acting like this is some sort of a qualitative type research, but I'm not sure. Again, this paper is very, very confusing. And oh, here you go. 2,200 words later, we get to the conclusion. And again, if you're going to do a phenomenological analysis, guess what? There's going to be a lot more explanation, especially the qualitative part. So yeah, again, I mean, this paper is hurting a lot, hurting. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be, this paper will be rejected. Oh, wow, look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 references. Okay, I'm telling you, this person did not do a significant amount of background research. They just didn't. Look, this out of 9 references, this one is missing the DOI. This one right here, if you click on this website, it's going to be indexed. It might not take you to a specific article or a specific abstract. Let's see. Okay, look at this one here. There's only one page that could be an article number, but you normally do not have a 1-page article, so they're missing some sort of, they're missing the page range. Let me see, this one here. Yeah, this one here is missing the DOI. This one here, I'm not really sure what this is. They're saying volume 3, issue 2017, but they have 2020 here. Yeah, I'm just not sure what this is. I would have to go to this hyperlink and see what it is, but there's something really not clear about this. And look, they misspelled guidelines. So yeah, so what we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 9 references that right now do not look good to me. So you see, here's the point. This paper right here would have been rejected. I mean, going through this paper would have been rejected straight away. So, okay, now give me some questions. We have 30 minutes for questions, and I'm ready to take some questions. So go ahead, anyone.
All right, dear audience, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to have question and answer sessions, the most interesting one. And I have seen one audience raise
yes,
hand.
Go ahead.
Mas Bapak Krishna Rahmadi.
All right, Krishna. Hello.
Hello, David.
Hey, buddy.
Can you hear my voice?
No, I cannot hear you at all.
Really? What about now? Sorry.
I'm speaking with you. Of course I can hear you.
Okay. It was very wonderful because this academic writing is not something that I got it when I was in my master degree.
Right.
That's when I was in master degree, I just knew some basic things of writing scientific article. And actually until now I am still writing, but what is it? Perhaps until quarter 2. I mean, for Scopus, and not quarter 3. I mean, or 4. And I just know that to get into the Q1 and Q2 is really detailed. Yeah. I mean, then the reviewing process is really what should I say? Very detailed and careful.
Yes, sure.
Yes. Can you suggest us for the writers, especially for the methodology part, because David just mentions we need to have ethical
approval.
Yeah, ethical approval, and most of Indonesian Indonesian universities, I guess, do not have it, but some medical university perhaps or program they have it. So can you first share us the form of the ethical approval? And then the second one is about how do we design the methodological clearly, and then also how to select the reference. For example, when we want to use this article, we should be careful with the DOI and the other, because in the practice we just put the references, we just put the articles, but we sometimes miss the DOI, like that one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So first of all, the Institutional Review Board, the IRB. I was surprised at how many Indonesian universities do not have this, and for you to publish in quality journals, you must have ethics approval if you do any research involving humans. I don't care if it's a telephone call or a survey monkey survey. I don't care. You need IRB approval. And if your university does not have this, if your university does not have an institutional review board, that means if you publish in a Scopus Index journal, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay some very expensive publication fees, so those journals will overlook the IRB. You know, and you don't want to do that. I mean, you know, most Indonesians, they make 1 million, 1.5 million rupees per month. You don't want to spend 1 million rupees, a whole month's salary, on publication fees. So, you know, try to find the IRB, trying to find the committee, trying to find something in your university. Because approval to do the research is not an IRB. That's just your supervisor saying, yeah, this is good. So try to find the institutional review board in your university. Okay, number two, you ask about the methodology, then you ask about the references. Okay, let me mention the references first, because the methodology is a little more. The references. References will have a DOI or another hyperlink. When I publish in some journals in Thailand, they do not have a DOI for the articles, but they do have a hyperlink that takes me to the abstract or takes me to the article. And the DOI is very important, but if there is none, you need some hyperlink to take the reader to that reference. You need a hyperlink, something. The point of the reference section is for the reader. When you reference an author in your paper, the reader might want to know more about that particular citation. So you need some way for them to find it. So you provide the DOI or you provide a hyperlink. Something. You have to provide something. Something is better than nothing. Because if you don't have the DOI, someone like me is going to send an email to you, hey, you need to provide this information. And you don't want that, because that takes too much time. So, okay, methodology. The methodology, presenting the methodology is quite simple. In the methodology section, I want to know about the participants. I want to know some demographics of the participants. I want to know why you chose the participants. I want to know where they come from. I want to know what is significant about the participants. I want to know what tools you used. What methodological tools are you, what application, what programs you are using, how you will use these tools, how you will analyze the data, how. So I tell my students, just answer the WH questions and how. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Who are you researching? What are you doing? When was the data collected? How are you going to analyze the data? Okay. And the methodology section, that's it. If you can answer those questions, you are fine. Also in the methodology section, that's where you disclose that prior to data collection, this research was approved by the Institutional Review Board of IAIN and the document number. That's it. So in the methodology section, you have to disclose that the ethics approval was received prior to data collection. So there you go. I answered all three of your questions. So do you have anything else? Kresna?
I don't think so. It's quite complete. I
Okay,
really like it.
okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, thank you.
All right,
Next,
thank you for the nice questions, Mas Krishna. Is there anyone want to deliver a question or opinion or ideas related to our discussion or the result of the review today? Well, actually, we're waiting for others. If you don't mind, actually, David, I have so many things to say,
okay, please.
so many things to ask.
Sure, please.
First of all, is it better to write down a paper by using reference manager or without it?
Oh, okay. Reference managers are great. I use EndNote. It helps me keep track of what citations I used, because sometimes authors they will have an in-text citation, but they did not mention it in the reference section, or vice versa. Sometimes they might have a reference in the reference section, but they did not use that citation within the text. So a reference manager is great, but you need to make sure that your references are formatted correctly. You know, the title in sentence case and things like that, because oftentimes the reference managers do not format correctly. So yes, reference managers are good, but you need to take some responsibility.
Yeah, sometimes that is the challenge to use the reference manager, because we have to edit first, or maybe we have to edit more than use it for writing.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, okay, next.
And okay, while waiting for others, I want to, yes?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I want to deliver questions about how many pages are ideally for writing every session. For example, how many pages for the background, how many pages for, or how many paragraphs for methodology and for the result and discussion and for the conclusions, since normally in every journal they decide to have around 15 up to 25 pages.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. Now, you know, these things change, okay? The length of the journal, it's going to be, I'm sorry, the length of the article, sorry. It's going to be 6,000 to 8,000 words. That's typically what it is. Now, how many words per section? Yeah, that's kind of, that's kind of a toughie because your abstract is going to be 200 words, and your literature review is going to be a big section, okay? But the largest sections are going to be the literature review and the discussion. The abstract is short. The introduction doesn't have to be very long, a page and a half if you want, but the literature review should be long enough to fully support your research topic without being boring or without meandering or losing the reader. The methodology, again, is going to be a page, I mean, it's not going to be much. The methodology minus any tables, right? Or minus any figures, you're going to have 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs. So it's not that big of a deal. The findings, you should have a paragraph to introduce your findings, and then for each table you're going to have a paragraph. I mean, it's not that much. The discussion, on the other hand, you should include enough information to fully communicate your findings. So in your abstract, 200 words, in your introduction, 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, your literature review, it's going to be, my goodness, 3 pages or so, because an article is going to be 20 pages, 22 pages, double spaced, right? 20 pages is about, that's about 5,000 words, or maybe a little more. 25 pages. A lot of journals, they have minimum and maximum. So just follow the journal guidelines. But your introduction and your literature review are going to be 3 pages, something like that. Your methodology is going to be another couple of pages. Your findings are going to be with tables, 2, 3, 4 pages, and then your discussion is going to be 3, 4, 5 pages, and then your conclusion is going to be a half a page, or one page, or maybe just 1 paragraph. And then your references, you should have at least 30 references. Most journals, they ask for 30 to 50 references, and they want these references to be within the past 10 years, within the past 5 years for some sort of data that changes rapidly, but at least within the past 10 years. So all of these pages, when they're all combined, they're going to be 20, 25 pages. So that's a rough guideline. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, it's crystal clear, David. And any questions from the participants? You can deliver directly by unmute your audio, or you can type through the chat box.
Yeah. So
we still have some minutes.
yeah.
And yeah.
Continue with your questions. It's okay.
Well, actually, the most challenging session for both for the newcomers of journal or authors is finding the right journal, or finding the right author to um, to deliver their publications in our journal.
Oh,
So we have, yeah, actually the process is we have to select
yeah.
through some process, but unluckily some new journal they are challenging. They are challenges to, yeah, to find the right author related to their scope of
Yeah,
journal. Yeah.
sure.
How could
Yeah,
you
but
deal with that?
yeah, but that's normal. Like I know you and I, we have communicated a bit, and your journal was going through what accreditation process or review process, and some of the I went through some of the articles in your journal. They're pretty good. I mean, they really are good. You know, they're good articles. But the thing is, the submissions, when you are a new journal, I'm sorry, but your submission to publication rate is going to be high. You have to take 50% of your submissions. You know, there's a difference between a journal that gets 80 or 100 submissions per month. Your publication rate can be 3%. At my journal, the publication rate is 8% because we get a lot of submissions. But you know, if your publication rate is 50% in the beginning, that's okay. Once people start recognizing your journal and your journal your journal is producing good quality research that can be used in Indonesia and abroad, don't worry about it. Your acceptance rate now might be 50%. Soon you will be getting so many submissions where your acceptance rate will be down to 20%. So it just takes time. It takes time. And what center rating, what center level is your journal? Or does it have center? Or, I don't remember. Is it center?
It's in educational background. Yeah.
What level? 1, 2, 3, 4?
The level of our journal.
Yes, the center level, SINTA.
Oh, I see. We just manage to be registered in
Okay.
INTA. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, because
On
that
process.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah. In process.
Yeah.
Sure.
In process. Okay.
In process. Yeah. Yeah. But you know, as long as you have an IS, you know, the ISSN, you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
questions.
Any questions from the audience?
We still have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So go ahead. More questions.
If we don't have any question anymore, let me give the conclusion of this this moment, this discussion. And well, actually, before we submit our paper into a journal, we have to make sure we have to option they will receive us or reject us, and we have to make sure we are ready for both. And from David, we learned so much about how to how to be received by a journal, hopefully a reputable journal. And there are some good points that I can deliver to you. And first of all, it is about the reasons for acceptance or rejection. The first is the paper contains suspected plagiarism elements. The second, the paper cannot be under reviewed at another journal. We cannot do multi-submission for our paper, so we have to be patient enough. And then the third is the manuscript lacks key elements. So since in Indonesia, we are so familiar with APA, we can look at the template, make sure we have to look at the template of the journal first. And then fourth is we have to make sure our paper is interesting enough. It has good values for the readers, especially for the readers, and for the researchers. Make sure we can find the gap and novelty from the paper that will be submitted to the journal. And it is not over ambitious. It has a research question or the purpose of the research. And we have to make sure, especially because David make it bigger about the ethics approval. Ethic approval must be received from an institutional review before collecting data from research involving. And David, do you mind to have closing statement before we end the breakout room?
Okay, sure. Look, everyone, here's something you need to understand. Most authors, they worry about their English ability, they worry about grammar, and they think that their study is not good enough, so they submit to low quality journals. Okay, let me tell you this: if your English is not very good, or if your writing is not very good, get help, ask for help. There are qualified copy editors all over the world. They will help you. So believe in yourself, believe in your research, write well, publish well, and you will be successful. So there you go.
All right, that's an awesome tips. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for David for answering all of things in our mind, and thank you for the great presentations, and it was a pleasure to have you with us. And over here in this discussion, we have fully fruitful knowledge and insights. And thank you all for the participants who joined and attending in this breakout room. We hope you have learned so much things, and try to soon practice and submit your paper, especially in our journal. And thank you very much. You can go back to the main room right now. Let me close by saying wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, sir.